Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are with Eddie, our fashion show director, and we are so excited to be discussing our upcoming fashion show for the Wedding Showcase on Sunday, February 2nd at the Safe Credit Union Convention Center. Thanks for being here with us today, Eddie.
Yes.
What we all want to know is what can attendees expect to see at the fashion show this year?
Well, I'm excited that we're having David's Bridal. They're going to be our main bridal vendor this year, and they're excited. I just heard from corporate where they'll be showing this year. David's Bridal, in fact, the David's Bridal that we're working with is the one in Arden Fair Mall right across the street. And so they have an amazing selection, so you have a chance to check out their store. And this year, they even said, let me look at my notes. David's Bridal is showing a lot of third applique and classic silhouettes. And I got to see some of the gowns. And it's a layered look. And they also are going to be promoting even some of the vintage styles, which I was talking about the last show, which is that lace and more the vintage for those women that want to go more old school and old school glamour, which is great. So I'm excited about that.
So, who else are we going to be seeing in the show this year?
There's an amazing organization called Brides for a Cause. They're more than a bridal store, Brides with a Cause. They're a 501c3, and it's a nonprofit organization, and they raise funds, all the funds that are raised through the donated gowns they get from designers and from stores is donated to women's charity, which I love their mission statement. So we're excited to premiere them also in our opening scene this year.
Brides for a Cause is an amazing organization. Again, if you did not know, or if you have not heard of Brides for a Cause, they are a nonprofit organization. Their gowns are donated by other bridal stores as well as designers, and the profits that are made through their stores are then donated to charities, and they do that, I believe, annually, correct?
Yes, in fact, there's 5 stores that they have nationwide, and they just opened a new one in San Diego. So we're excited to work with them this year. I think we worked with them last year.
Absolutely. They've been in our show for many years. They're
Yes,
amazing, amazing.
they are
organization.
amazing. I love their organization.
I believe Tuxedo Din will actually be showing as well through the show, correct?
They will. It's sort of a crazy month because they're also going to be premiering at Sacramento Fashion Week. So they're excited to do our show as well as their show. In fact, I wanted to give a little shout out to Dwayne Ram Productions, who helped me with the final castings of our models. So we'll have some of the models from Fashion Week in our shows as well.
That's wonderful to hear. And then who will actually be providing some decor on the runway?
So far, we have balloons. There's a balloon company, and her name
One
is
balloon at a time, I believe.
One Balloon at a Time. And she's been sending me pictures of different events that she's been doing. In fact, last night she sent me this amazing arrangement that we'll have displayed throughout the venue itself. In fact, also with the flowers, we're going to be incorporating our flowers in our wedding procession scene. So in our scene 3, I'm going to have an actual, like a wedding procession. So your wedding would look like this with the flowers and the matching gowns with tuxedos, warehouse with their suits. So we're excited about that. And we have 2 new kids in the show. I mean, one new kid in the show, her name is Lillian. She's so excited. I wish I brought a picture, but we're excited to have them in this year's show.
Yeah, a more florist and bridal is going to be amazing throughout the venue as well. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited about that.
So, what top fashion trends will we be seeing on the runway?
From what I was talking before, we were talking about the lace, but what's amazing is another bridal company showed me what was hot for 2025. And again, it's that 3-dimensional gown. It's lace, but it's like this delicate applique. So it reminds me of the old school gowns, like in the 20s, but it's gorgeous, big ball gowns.
So it's vintage reinvented.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's not typically just your white gowns.
Mm-hmm.
So we even have gowns of different colors. Depending on what they want to show this year, I'm seeing a lot of blues and a lot of teals. In fact, one of the colors that's been asked for in a lot of the bridal stores is that that more vintage mauve tone. So I'm excited to show what's hot for 2025.
Are there any standout designers or collections that you're particularly excited about?
Right now, there are a mix of designers. In fact, there's a few designers coming in from Chicago. They'll be featured in this year's show. David's Bridal has a slew of designers that they're pulling in for this show, and they're excited to premiere the 2025 line.
How do you balance when you're showcasing the different dresses between that timeless look and a trendy modern feel?
In fact, that's a great question because of the fact that I definitely want to premiere, because back in the day, it wasn't the stick models, it was the full figured models. So I'm going to be showcasing that in this year's show. So we're going to have different shapes and sizes, different heights. In fact, even the models that are coming in, we're excited to have Julie Nation Academy, who's been in business for 50 years. I've worked with her when I was an agent in San Francisco, and she supplied a good majority of the models. So we have a great trend of models. In fact, they're going to have I believe they're going to have a booth this year. I've been asked, in fact, shows in the past, some of the parents have come up to me and some of the ladies have come up to me, is how do I get into the industry? So this year we're going to have a booth so you can check out how to be in maybe next year's show.
I love that. That's so exciting, just to have that potential opportunity.
Exactly.
Are there any new trends in men's wedding fashion that will be showcased at the event?
I think the last time we had the podcast, I had discussed with Lisa, we're going to see even the accessories with the hats, even with men, jewelry. So it's more red tie affair, which you see on the red carpet. Black tie, excuse me, black tie affair, which you see on the red carpet, like in Hollywood.
Okay.
We're going to see that also on the runway. So I'm excited to show that and showcase that in this year's show.
How do you approach selecting the pieces for the grooms and groomsmen?
A lot of it has to do with their personality. In fact, one of the things I look for when I'm booking models is personality. When it comes to like Fashion Week, the models tend to walk down the runway, a deadpan walk down and turn, and you're off the runway because a lot of designers just want to showcase their clothes. But when it comes to bridal shows, I want models to have that fun energy as if it's their own wedding. So I'm excited to have the models that are more energetic. In fact, you might see some dancing going on with some of the men. So excited about that.
It is always fun when you watch a bridal show because of that. You want to see personality come through. You want to be able to see and imagine what it would be like to be in that gown or that suit. So yeah, that is great to hear that. What should the grooms consider when choosing their own wedding attire?
What's cool about Tuxedo Din is that they will specialize even making certain colors and designs specifically for that groom or for that wedding party. So everything is made in-house. They're by appointment only, but you can come in and see their store. Definitely come and visit Jillian. She's amazing. And John, they're crazy busy, but it's a good busy there. I've worked with them before, I think 2 years ago. And they have an amazing selection of suits. In fact, there's a couple of them I have an eye on. But they're excited to be in this year's show. In fact, we were discussing during the casting, when we were casting, I was with them for Sacramento Fashion Week. They showed me some of the selections, and I was so excited with the colors that they're going to be premiering and showcasing this year. So definitely come and visit them.
So how do you design a runway to reflect the luxury of a wedding and keep that still elegance of a wedding?
A lot of that has to do with the mood. Whenever I do shows, what I've learned in the industry, depending on the vision of the designer, you want to bring him in that setting. That's why I wanted to have one of our scenes to be like a wedding procession where we have the flower girl comes out, we have the ring bearer comes out, and then we have the usher and the maid of honor coming down with the mother of the bride and the father of the bride. So I want them to envision how their wedding would look like. on the runway,
Yeah.
even with the music, the blending of the music, the love songs. So they'll get an idea, how would I design my wedding? So you're going to see that in one of our scenes. In fact, scene 3 is our wedding procession scene.
Can you share with us what the inspiration for this year's runway will be?
My inspiration, I believe, because of what's happening, the trends in the industry, is we're going back to glamour. We're going back to getting dressed up again. And so even that 50s feel to it, with the hair, the coiffed, the hair is pulled up now. The red lips, depending on the style of the gowns, we're going to have different styles on each show. So each show on the wedding procession will be a different color, a different style. So definitely don't count on just going to one of the shows. See all the shows, because we're going to show different varieties.
How do you collaborate with the florists, the lighting experts, the decor designers to really create that cohesive aesthetic for the show?
Like any wedding, when a bride comes to pick their gowns, and once they pick their gowns, they get an idea of, I want my maid of honor, my bridesmaids to be in this colored gown or evening gown. So from there, you select from the colors of the gowns that are chosen, the colors of the flowers. And this year, because of the balloon vendor that's coming in, we're going to incorporate that even with the balloons. It's not your typical, I want to say, half moon style balloons that you see.
Right.
It's more of this gorgeous array of balloons that look like grapes. It's like this cluster of grapes, but different balloons in different colors. And we're going to have that in this year's show. I think our color this year is pearl white, your classic pearl and white with gold accents to it. And you're going to see that also with the colors. So there's a color coordination going on there.
And pearls are so big this year. So
Yes.
having that color is just amazing. What advice can you give our brides when it comes to choosing their dresses?
Right now, which is great, it's more affordable, would you believe? Gowns are more affordable because an influx of outside designers that are coming in. So it's not your typical, I have to get a gown by, I won't mention her name, high-end designer, which she also premieres at David's Bridal. But what's awesome about it is that it's so affordable right now. And so picking a gown, it's not going to be about the cost anymore. It's a selection, which is great. In fact, there's a small boutique here, and I worked with her, I believe, last year, the Bridal Box. Shout out to Christine. And she said she carries a unique selection of gowns that I'm excited to see on the runway. Hopefully, she'll be involved in this show. We'll see.
What about when they're trying to create that cohesive aesthetic with their whole wedding party? What advice would you give them for that?
Everything revolves around that gown. Also, depending on tradition, some weddings, the bride changes, and some traditional weddings, which would be exciting. In fact, there's a gown that I had just finished photographing, I'm also a photographer on the side, that's a bright pink. And I'm thinking, how would this fit in? They said, well, in this tradition, the bride changes. And I'm thinking, I can totally see that. So in designing your gown, I believe that it's really up to the bride and what she wants to see. The trends from the past have been that boho look, where it's very natural in the country, but I'm seeing more glamour. I'm seeing more the red carpet gowns coming in, incorporated with a bridal gown. So the showcase is the bride.
Right.
So it's like no holds bar.
Well, going back to that, how can you ensure that the men's fashion is getting equal attention, but also complementing the bridal look?
It's not anymore that boring tuxedo. The colors that you're going to see on the runway. Right now, one of the hottest colors right now is that deep purple, that eggplant purple. You're going to see that on the runway. The tan, again, more reminiscent of that 20s look, with not just the pocket square, but with jewelry and the hat. So depending on how you want to go, it's like the world's your oyster. And it's not anymore the showcase is the bride, it's also the groom.
Yeah.
which is amazing.
So it sounds like what your advice would be is to really let your personality shine through your
Oh,
fashion.
definitely, definitely. One of the one of the things that I love about the men's suit is back in the day, my dad used to wear this zoot suit, and I have a picture of him
Uh-huh.
with the vest, the greased hair back. So it's like having that top hat look.
hmm
So I'm excited about that in this year's show. We're going to be premiering that with Tuxedo Din.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it really sounds like this year has really given men's fashion permission to step out of the comfort zone and take that leap into being more of a show-stopping piece as well.
Yes, it's like when you see even the shows, the Golden Globes or the
Mhm.
Oscars, that's what you're going to see on our runway also.
What should the brides pay attention to while watching the fashion shows?
I think one of the things that I'm going to be doing at the show, it's after the show ends, we're going to have even some of the models come out there so they can see up close and personal the appliques, the detailed gowns, so they can come up close and touch the gowns.
hmm
And we're going to have even the vendors there for the brides to even try on gowns. So there'll be gowns for the the wedding parties or the brides to come in
hmm
to try on there at the venue.
That's amazing. That's one of the great pluses for coming to a wedding show coming to the wedding showcase is that you get to meet the vendors, you get to see those gowns and suits up close. You can touch them, feel them, get
Yes.
to know your consultants and the vendors right there in one place without having to drive over all over Greater Sacramento meeting everyone.
One
So
stop shopping, which you have
absolutely.
your photographers there,
hmm
you have your florists there,
Yeah,
you have your
absolutely.
DJs there.
Of course. So, how do you hope the show impacts the attendees, particularly the engaged couples?
I think what I want them to leave with is I see myself on that runway. It's a one stop shopping, but it's also, I want to bring them in as if it's their wedding.
hmm
I did one show in the Bay Area where instead of having a fashion show, we had the wedding procession, but at the same time, we had called the the models to come in as if it was their own wedding. So we
hmm
had a wedding reception, as we called the bride and the groom,
hmm
the maid of honor, and the wedding party coming into the reception with a dance party. And it was amazing.
How many shows can we expect to see at the wedding showcase?
This year we're going to have 3 shows. I believe we're going to start at 12:30, and every hour, hour and a half, we'll be having another show. Like I said, please come and see all the shows because we'll be showcasing different pieces, different colors from each vendor this year. In fact, I believe there we have some great prizes going on as well.
Absolutely. We definitely will be having some raffle prizes announced, throughout the day. It's very exciting at the fashion shows, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can go online and buy your tickets and definitely get the VIP tickets because we have a special event happening at the end of the show.
Yes, you're talking about our VIP party.
Yes.
Very exciting. Our VIP after party will be happening from 4 to 5, where we will be essentially hosting a reception.
And I'll have some of the models still dressed up and they can come up and see the gowns and the suits.
hmm
So it'll be exciting afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be letting our hair down, having a blast for sure, dancing it out.
We're excited to have the makeup bar this year.
Yes.
I had an opportunity to work with their makeup artist on a photo shoot this past weekend,
hmm
and glam is back. So we're excited. We're going to have a premiere model this year, and we're going to have their crew there, and we're also going to be showcasing the hair and makeup team there. So they won't be backstage. They're going to be out front, and you can talk one on one with the makeup people. They also teach makeup there.
Yes, we have spoken with the makeup bar before. We love Mariah. They're so amazing there. Yes, they are going to be out front getting the models ready. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be amazing to see them out there doing their thing. I just can't believe some of the looks they put together. And they did say that heavy glam was coming back this year. So that's
Yes.
exciting to see that we'll be able to actually see it on the runway, full glam, red lips like you were talking about, big eyelashes.
Yes.
I love it all. The smoky eye.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I know you talked a little bit about, hair, like the updos are coming back and the vintage curls. I've seen some amazing work at the makeup bar. They can just do those beautiful Hollywood vintage waves.
And come in and get your hair and makeup done there.
Yeah.
So they'll be, after we do our show, they'll have their artists and stylists there to do your hair and makeup.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
they also do a free consultation for brides. So definitely make your appointments with the makeup art. Tuxedo Din, they do customize the creation of their suits and tuxedos for their special occasions, or even in this case for their wedding. They even have their own designers in house that will specifically make even that trend for the men. You see that slimming suit.
Mm-hmm.
They will create that for you there
Oh, that's
at
great.
Tuxedo Din
So,
at no additional charge, which is amazing.
wow. Yeah, that is amazing. When you're a wedding guest and you're looking for those, you want to look great, right? But, I feel like men's attire is always very similar, as a guest. Like you're usually always wearing black slacks, a white shirt, a tie. So, how can maybe the guests kind of step out of their comfort zone and kind of, try on some of those trends? Like, what advice would you have for them for that?
Some of the trends also, some brides or a bridal party will go into a theme,
Mm-hmm.
like the Roaring Twenties, where they get all dressed up, even with the accessories. So it's a no holds bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's your style. I mean, this is one in a lifetime event for you. So make it a party. Make it an event that people remember. So I want to see that also on the runway. And that's what's cool about our vendors. They will specialize in what you want, but at the same time, what the trends are going on right now, which I'm excited about the Hollywood glamour.
Yeah. So speaking of that, one of the big themes, like you said, is Hollywood glam. But what are some of the other themes that we're seeing throughout the runway and trends this year?
Traditional gowns.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see the traditional silhouette gowns, but also with a modern flair to it.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
You got to see it.
Okay.
You got to see it. Form fitting, even the fishtail gowns, which is gorgeous, which reminds me of the 50s. Very fitted and different shapes and sizes. That's why I wanted to really showcase the different shapes and sizes on the runway. Even the heights. It's not like in the fashion industry, when I do shows for Fashion Week, we want the girls size 2 4s, 5'10" and up. But this is all shapes and sizes. You see sizes up to 22 to 24 to size 2 to a female model that's on the runway that's 5'2".
Uh-huh.
So I want them I want that runway to be relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see that on the runway with the models and with the energy.
When brides or bridal parties or engaged couples are, designing their weddings and they're wanting to really go for a theme, is there ever a point where it's too much? Is there a point where you go a little too overboard on a theme?
I think it's dependent upon the bride and the groom, because I've seen the too much, but to them that's their personality.
Uh-huh.
So it's not about being too much. It's like you want your personality to shine in that event.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've seen some that are so conservative. You're like, really? But then again, you get to meet them. You're like, I get it.
Uh-huh.
That's part of their personality. So don't be held back by thinking that I have to be over extravagant. Be more of you, and you'll see that in this venue, because we have all these vendors that are there to specifically design for your taste. But I do like the fact that it's more dressed up this year. In 2025, you're going to see this on the runways.
Can you tell us maybe your favorite memory from a bridal fashion show you put together?
There's a show I did in the Bay Area. And what was amazing in the show is that we incorporated not just the gowns from a bridal party, but we took the gowns and we had them actually pick people in the audience. And we had them wear those gowns. Because sometimes what you see in the runway may look good on a certain person. But when you try it, I'm like, no, the cut's not just right. And sometimes you think, well, this looks too conservative. But when you try it on, it's like, wow, it's totally different. That's why you get to try these gowns on at the venue itself and pick and choose and ask the professionals their opinions. We're all there to help you.
Do you have any advice for engaged couples when they're going through this planning process?
I think I discussed with Lisa the number one advice I have for new brides is that get your venue down first. Because from your venue, everything is downhill from there, which is great. Because I've seen some bridal couples and they want to jump in on getting their outfits together and what's the color of the wedding, and they don't even have a venue together. You'll see even some of those vendors there with the different venues. So get your venue, your church together, because sometimes it's a year to a year and a half in advance to book a venue. So get a venue together.
Yeah, once you get the venue, you kind of just build from there.
Yes.
Then you know what style gown you want or the color scheme you want to go with, what florals you're envisioning.
Yes.
There. It does kind of snowball from there. Like once you get the venue, it can really get your momentum of planning out.
You're also going to see a different simplicity to the flowers this year.
Okay.
It's more simple. It's not that 20-pound bouquet that you can knock someone over the head with. But it's like simple bouquets, even just a flower. So I'm excited to see that also on the runway. We'll be showcasing that. And in fact, on our third show for the day, we have a surprise for everyone. So definitely come to the third show. So we'll be, as a wedding reception would be, the bride will throw her bouquet.
Oh, that's amazing. You might be the lucky recipient to catch that.
Exactly.
And then I believe after the third show, we are going to announce the grand prize winner
Yes.
of the 7-day resort vacation presented by the Kitchen Bridal Registry.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely stay at the third show. You have to be present to win, right?
I believe, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, after the third show, we will be announcing that winner for the 7-day resort stay presented by Kitchen Traditions Bridal Registry. Very excited about that.
It's going to be a full day that day.
Absolutely. Fun all day long.
And a new venue. We're excited to have the Safe CU Convention Center
Yes.
this year.
Yeah, again, if you haven't seen the video, we just did a video on where to enter because it is going to be the West Lobby where the Starbucks is. So we're very excited to be located.
Beautiful venue.
Absolutely.
Beautiful venue.
Just recently remodeled. It's
Yes.
wonderful.
And centrally located.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Eddie, for being here with us today. We're so
It's
excited.
my pleasure.
We can't wait to see all the gorgeous fashion walking down the runway.
Exactly.